good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending upon the time of day for you. Thank you for taking the time to spend a few minutes with me. I hope you find the experience entertaining as well as educational. Before I begin, let me tell you a little about myself. When I give speeches, this part is usually done by another person who's introducing me. So you'll pardon me if this sounds just a bit pretentious, but my advisors have told me this is what I should say. My name is John Fall. I'm a senior global executive management leadership consultant, seminar workshop facilitator, speaker, and author. I have over 4 decades of experience with organizations ranging in size from a few hundred employees to hundreds of thousands worldwide. My clients include Honda, Toyota, General Motors, the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, Royal Dutch Shell, Australian Teleservices Association, IBM, Lockheed Martin, ESI International, Computer Task Group, and numerous small and mid-size enterprises. My industry experience includes automotive, financial services, oil and gas, healthcare, employee benefits, mortgage banking, manufacturing, distribution, construction, real estate, insurance, and many others. My consulting engagements, primarily initiated by client referrals, have taken me throughout North America and Asia Pacific, including Australia, Japan, the Philippines, and Singapore, and have involved vendor negotiations and management of client employees, consultants, and offshore resources. I'm a certified project management professional, former director of the Orange County, California, USA chapter of the Independent Computer Consultants Association, and also author of Using Information as a Resource, Mortgage Banking Magazine, and Living with a Fast Idiot, the Executive's Guide to Computers, that was used by Arthur Andersen and Company's introductory course on computers. I created and conducted a seminar workshop, How to Select and Install Information Technology, a Management Perspective, for the International Foundation of Employee Benefit Plans, Automation Institute, in Palm Springs, California, in the U.S., and a workshop entitled How to Implement an E-Strategy for the Australian Teleservices Association in Sydney, Australia. It delivered real-life strategies and the pitfalls of e-strategy implementation for this organization whose members are contact center managers and team members. The workshop included web integration techniques and department organization strategies. I also developed and addressed a speech to high school students, What's Your Dream?, at the De La Salle College of St. Benilde, Choose IT, Discover and Learn Your Future conference in Manila in the Philippines. I'm listed in Who's Who in the World, Who's Who in America, Who's Who in Finance and Industry, Who's Who in Finance and Business, Who's Who in Emerging Leaders in America, and Who's Who in the West. This speech is part of what I call Fall's Inspirational Kickoff Speeches, a collection of 6 short inspirational speeches designed to kick off an annual planning meeting, team building event, corporate reorganization introduction, really any meeting that could use a refreshing start. This speech is called Perri Cebedo's Maximizing Academic Performance, MAP Seminars. The other speeches in the collection are Do You Know Who You Are?, The Mirror Test, It's Not About You, You Don't Have to Be Famous, and It's Never Too Late. I also offer the Leadership Insights series, a collection of 6 workshops, keynote addresses on leadership based upon my decades of experience as a senior global executive management leadership consultant, seminar workshop facilitator, speaker, and author. The workshop's keynote addresses are titled What Can I Do?, Leadership Myths and Musts, Leadership Lessons from Entrepreneurs, leadership lessons from everyday life, the pace of leadership, and more leadership lessons. Now, here's the story of Perri Cebedo's Maximizing Academic Performance MAP seminars. I had the pleasure of getting to know Perri at his home in Northern California in the U.S. several decades ago. My wife was in the guidance office of Ateneo de Manila, where Perri's wife, Monina, was a teacher. Perri has a rich and somewhat extraordinary background. He was an Ateneo grade school teacher in the Philippines, later worked in the pharmaceutical industry in the Philippines, and moved to California, where he was promoted to vice president of an international pharmaceutical company. He subsequently started his own seminar consulting business, where he went all over the world training pharmaceutical industry representatives. Perri recently retired, and he's now giving back at his own expense to students and teachers in the Philippines by holding his Maximizing Academic Performance seminars. Perri is practicing Pay It Forward from the 2000 movie of the same name starring Kevin Spacey, Helen Hunt, and Haley Joel Osment. The often quoted line from the movie is, "When someone does you a big favor, don't pay it back, pay it forward." Perri believes that Philippine education can't be improved unless students are taught how to learn. According to Perri, it's been found that learning is not a question of IQ or school or home environment, but whether or not a student has learned the smarts and skills to learn more in less time with higher knowledge retention. Perri's 4-hour MAP seminars cover the following 10 main points. 1. The learning environment at home and school and effective classroom participation. 2. Attitudes and characteristics of champion learners. 3. Preparing for tests, taking tests, and how to ace your tests. 4. The weekly study plan and application of time management. 5. How to study boring textbooks, the SQ4R method, survey, question, recite, record, write, and review. 6. How to take lecture notes using the Cornell method. 7. How to sharpen memory skills and tools for remembering. 8. How to build a powerful vocabulary to reignite the joy of learning. 9. Using video tutorials and multimedia for repeatable lectures to enhance learning. And finally, 10. Using ebooks and illustrated encyclopedias to expand and deepen learning. Perri also stresses to students that there's no such thing as multitasking, that they can't study effectively if they are continually checking their cell phones, have music blasting, or are watching people pass by. Perri said he developed MAP initially to help his own children do well in American schools when they first moved to the U.S. in the 1980s. I worried that my children would not be able to cope with the American system, so I bought books on how to develop skills that would help them cope with college education in the U.S., he said. When Perri traveled to Latin America to conduct human resource and marketing seminars, he offered MAP as a bonus to sweeten the pot for prospective clients, realizing it could be used not just by his own children, but also the families of doctors and medical representatives. Perri, with his wife Monina, visited around 12 schools last year, 2015, and addressed some 170 public school teachers in Batangas, all organized by a former MAP seminar participant and with the blessing of the provincial DepEd office. Perri is hoping to find help sponsoring additional seminars next year when he returns to the Philippines to celebrate his mother's 100th birthday. You can reach Perri through email at perricebedo@yahoo.com, and tutorials and other educational materials are available on his Facebook page. You can also contact me at jrfall@yahoo.com, and I'll send you a flyer describing Perri's MAP seminar and copies of a Philippine Daily Enquirer article about Perri, as well as an interview of Perri on GMA Online. Perri has been nominated for the annual CNN Heroes program, CNN Hero of the Year. It was won by Filipino Cariton classroom champion Efren Peña Florida several years ago. We're all hoping Perri will be at least among the top 10 CNN heroes this year and perhaps become Hero of the Year. So that's what Perri Cebedo's Maximizing Academic Performance seminars are all about. I hope the stories have inspired you to help additional teachers and students to benefit from the seminars. And now, before I finish, here's the story I promised you earlier. It's one of several stories in my book about my wife, and if you've read any of the other stories about my wife, you've probably concluded she's a remarkable woman. You couldn't be more correct. She gets credit once again for teaching me about life with the phrase, "Life's lessons are repeated until they're learned." She said she learned this from a friend whom she met when she was working with a group of psychologists at Ateneo University in Manila in the Philippines decades ago. She said it to me one night after work when I complained about something stupid that I'd done that day. "I know better," I said, "and I did it anyway." Quite frankly, I don't even remember the mistake I made. I make so many it's hard to remember which one triggered the comment. But she said it in earnest, and for some reason it stuck with me over the years. So now I try to remember the comment when I'm facing a difficult situation and know I'm about to do or say something stupid. And sometimes the pause before I act or say anything even works. Rather than make the same mistake I've made so many times before, I come up with something different to do or say. Unfortunately, I don't always come up with the right thing to do or say, but at least I can say I tried. But often I do handle the situation better, sometimes even better than I thought I could ever do. And I always remember her comment, "Life's lessons are repeated until they're learned." I smile, and I'm glad again that I've learned when to take advice. Thanks for letting me spend some time with you and to share my stories. If I left you learning for more, send me an email at jrfall.com and I'll send you some information about the Leadership Insights series that I mentioned earlier. The Leadership Insights series is a collection of 6 workshops, keynote addresses based upon my book, and then there were stories, lessons from a lifetime of leadership. The book is available on Amazon.com in print and electronic Kindle editions. One of the workshops, More Leadership Lessons, includes stories behind the phrases, "She must have been beautiful when she was young," "The ball has no memory," "I can earn the money back, I can't get the time back," as well as the story I just told you, "Life's lessons are repeated until they're learned." The stories in the More Leadership Lessons workshop are interspersed with quotes from Dilbert, Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States, Michael Jordan, one of the most famous basketball players in the world, the famous Irish playwright George Bernard Shaw, Sonny from the Academy Award nominated movie The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, and also Walt Disney. The other workshops include What Can I Do?, Leadership Myths and Musts, Leadership Lessons from Everyday Life, Leadership Lessons from Entrepreneurs, and The Pace of Leadership. Thanks again. I hope you enjoyed the stories and will not only learn some of the lessons yourself, but pass them on to your colleagues, because knowledge is one of the few things that increases when it's shared.